William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We are here at the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board meeting, the agency known as DART to Dallas, Texas residents. As a service to the Dallas community, we plan to cover DART board meetings from gavel to gavel. Public comments are required to keep DART board aware of issues close to the ridership that they may not get through other resources.
6:31 on Tuesday, October 7, 2014, and this Board of Directors meeting of the Dallas Area Rapid Transit is called to order. Our first order of business is the approval of the prior minutes.
Second.
All those in favor of the entering the private, excuse me, all those in favor of entering the minutes of the prior meeting? Well, do this first. Any comments, corrections, desire to the minutes? All those in favor of entering them, please signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Thank you. We have several public comments. The Vice Chair, Ms. Wilkins, will read the public comment introduction.
Okay, general public comments will be allowed at the beginning of each DART board meeting for a total of 30 minutes, and again at the end of the meeting when the 30-minute period does not accommodate all the persons who have signed up to speak. Individuals who have addressed the board in the past 30 days will be recognized to speak during the public comment period at the end of the meeting. During the public comment period, board members may not interact with the speakers or other board members by asking questions or offering their own comments. Members of the public are reminded that their behavior during DART board meetings is governed by the DART Board of Conduct for citizens, news media, and visitors. Personal attacks, impertinent and slanderous remarks, and boisterous conduct will not be allowed. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. The green light on the podium will indicate that you begin to speak, and the yellow light indicates that you have 1 minute remaining, and the red light indicates that your time has expired. Please just announce your name when you address the mic. And the first speaker?
The first speaker is Mr. Thomas Whitehead. Following Mr. Whitehead will be Ms. Marcy Carter.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Whitehead.
I'm here because I'm a 17-plus year ex-employee of DART. I was fired for policy violation. But nevertheless, though, I'm just only here to say that I wasn't even given a last chance or not even another chance. And also that I have no DART got policies, rules and regulations, but I've seen people in them 17-plus years that committed that did worse things than what I did, and they got their job back, they got seniority, they was properly retired and everything, and so far I haven't received none of that. I'm kind of like just out here stuck out. I can't even get unemployment benefits because of these policies and whatnot. So I'm really kind of struggling right now. And I thought maybe I was a pretty good employee while I was at DART. So what I don't understand is that why am I not given another chance or a second chance? So, but anyway, I'm gonna stay short. I've said what I had to say, and I hope that somebody's back there listening. Thank you.
Mr. Whitehead, there is somebody listening, and we will look into it and get back to you before the week's over.
Thank you.
And if you don't, and if you don't hear back from us, would you please call the Office of Board Support, ask for Nancy Johnson? our Office of Board Support
Okay,
and ask for Nancy Johnson.
all right.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ms. Marcy Carter. Oh, okay. I'm not doing this anymore. If it's not William or Sally, it's
It's Marseille.
Marseille. Good evening, sir.
How you doing? My name is Marseille Carter. I'm a police officer for Dart Police Department, and I was I'm here in concerns about the election to take away our dependent on the insurance. I understand y'all have jobs to do, and just like we do, and you know, some of the jobs do offer insurance, but it's some of them are very unaffordable for us to afford. You know, myself and my wife has to pay $200 a month just for herself, and $7,000 a year just before the insurance covers 80%. And so it makes it hard, you know, that the insurance goes away that we really need for our loved ones. And I thought I'd be here to speak, and I was hoping there'd be more, but I'm here, and I'm here to try and just show you my concerns about, you know, taking away our insurance from our dependents, you know, our wives, that is. And that's really all I had to say. I just thought I'd be here to voice that opinion, voice my opinions on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Our next speaker is Diane Martin. Following Ms. Martin will be Jeffrey Graham.
Hi, my name is Diane Martin. I'm from East Dallas Division. And this may be a little premature, but it's a concern of mine, and it involves safety. When I was driving the bus yesterday, the 409, because of the fare and the traffic and the detours, it was late. It came to me late. And I couldn't catch up, so I just drove it late. But then, you know, you start to catch up at the end. Then a supervisor met me, and his name was Kiefer. And I stopped to see what he wanted. Then he came up on the bus and proceeded to just go at me in front of passengers. I had passengers on my bus. I said, it's late because of the fare. He didn't want to hear that. He said, he doing a report. Now, I'm not going to write you up this time, but go on. Okay. Then at the end, I got to the end of the route, pushed my button to go to the bathroom. Then he come running up again. At this time, I was livid. And I went off on him. And I did cuss at him, which was wrong for me. It may be a little premature. I wrote up a report about it and gave it to Carranza. I spoke to him today to see about it. Because there are some supervisors, not all, just some. There are some that do a wonderful job, but there are some that are just totally just incompetent. And they are the reason why people get in confrontations that they don't need to have. And I'm saying this because 2 years ago, I had another altercation with a supervisor. It was about safety. A man had threatened a 15-year-old child on the bus. The girl was so shaken, she couldn't even talk. but I get rolled up. Isn't that funny? He's more concerned about this bus moving than the safety of a person. And I'm sorry that I'm over, but just hear me out. Carol Wise has implemented the 5-star service, and it's a good service. But when are the bus drivers going to see this 5-star service? Because this doesn't need to happen. That's why I'm here today. The supervisors need training. They need psych evaluations. Because it's really ridiculous the way some things are handled. And I'm out of time.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. Our next speaker is Jeffrey Graham.
Good evening. I just came down. I used to be a DART employee. I resigned back January the 8th of this year. And I recently left. I had a lot of drivers come to me recently to tell me about the new senior manager over there in Oak Cliff where I worked. And the things that they were telling me was real good. So I went down there for myself to find out. And I talked to the man. Whoever brought that man here, DART finally did something good. He cared about his employees, and he's fair. That's all. Many times if I've came down here and spoke to you all don't respond, and I know you don't ask questions and this and that. But after all this is over, you all seem like that you all ought to find out what's really going on. You know, you go to the VP, which is Tim Newby, go under him, which is Mr. Bell. You tell them things, don't nothing get done. I went to both of them before I left. They have a AWOL program. I mean, it's not a program, it's where they write you up. And I got wrote up twice for AWOL. AWOL means absent without leave. Now, all you all look like you're pretty smart. AWOL, absent without leave. How can I get an absent without leave if you're talking to me? Go into Webster. We all know what absent means. Now you have a man in charge that's going to fight for her, that's going to fight for the drivers. And that's all that I've ever asked you all to do. If it's wrong, you all ought to stand up and do something about it. Shouldn't let nobody be done wrong. Nobody. And for my 17 years plus with DART, you all put people in places that shouldn't be there. They don't try to solve the problem. Now you have somebody that's willing to listen and help. And wherever you got them from, we need more. You all need more. So if that was Miss Carol Wise, her decision to bring him here, she finally did something good. But the rest of them, they're no good. And I just gave you all an example of AWOL. That man, I went down myself and I've talked to him. He told me some things, and that's all that I've ever asked for. For people to be fair. Not only be fair, care. We all are human. We all make mistakes. Because if you don't make mistakes, that means you're not human. You know, but if you can help a person, why do you want to fire a person? But that's their goal. They're like they jump up and down when they fire somebody. These are people's lives y'all are dealing with. And then they come down here and they talk to you all. Many times as I've talked, been threatened on the bus, y'all don't get back. You know, y'all don't get back. And I appreciate this time to sit here for you all to listen. And again, like I said, wherever you all got him from, get more that's willing to help the employees and listen to the employees and care about the employees. Because the rest of them, they don't care. They do not care. They won't do nothing to help. And again, I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Graham. Our next speaker is Mr. Albert Darla.
Albert Durla, Recording Secretary, ATU Local 1338. I'm here to speak to you again about the cameras on the buses. DART management is constantly trying to call back veteran drivers for nitpicking things, not coming to a California stop, drinking a glass of water. They still have mystery riders out there on the buses riding these camera buses. Now you got us under a double gun. You got the camera looking at us, you got a person behind us watching us, and that don't make no sense. If DART wants to cut the budget, why don't you cut these mystery riders? You don't need both the cameras and the mystery riders. That's a lot of money. I don't know how much it is, but I guarantee all the salaries of those mystery riders is a lot of money. And I just wanted to let you know about that on the cameras. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Durla. Our next speaker is Mr. Kenneth Day. Following Mr. Day is Mr. Michael Key.
My name is Kenneth Day. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. I'm here to speak to you about the increases in the health care and the drastic changes. I came before you approximately a couple of months ago, and I stated that the employees were asking for an equitable wage adjustment. That wage adjustment was based upon the anticipated increases of the insurance. Over the last several years, your increases in insurance has exceeded employees' wage increases. We cannot continue to absorb these higher costs and premiums. With the change in your plan, you can't imagine the hardship that's going to be placed upon employees' families. An employee no longer allowed to carry their spouse now have to go and potentially pick up in their household another $500 to $600 a month, plus the increase in the insurance. In the previous years, including last year, employees got 5.5% increases. You look at the FTA report, how staff has brought in new people, double the salaries. But guess what? Employees on the bottom are the ones that's getting stepped on and walked on. Not only are you increasing the insurance, there's proposals that you're putting out there to take away from the employees, the operators, the mechanics. We can't continue to take it. I know you got a budget that you have to look after. We understand that. But you can do it without stepping on the employees that's actually providing the services, the ones that's doing the work. There's another way. You're constantly taking, and we cannot continue to sustain these exceeded costs of our wage increases. We cannot. Please, you can do something about it. You got time to do it. You got time to do it. Employees are getting fed up. And you're going to hear more from them. It's not a lot of them here tonight because you're just now getting out explaining it to them. A lot of them are just now learning. They're just not hearing about it. So it's not an issue that's going to go away. Before I leave, I want you to know that was a benefit to employees. That was given to employees. And employees have 4 wage increases and other benefits over the years to be able to have that benefit that you're taking away. So you weren't giving employees what you thought you was giving them. It was a benefit, we appreciate it, but understand why we had it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Day, thank you for coming this evening. Our next speaker is Mr. Michael Key.
How y'all doing today? I was here last board meeting. My name is Michael Key. I'm here today to talk about the cameras again, which I did last time. I'm still stressed out. I'm still frustrated. I haven't got no resolve, no resolution on nothing, so I don't know what's going on. But like I said, I do the 161 Glen Oaks. The route is very heavy. There's a lot of traffic. I get right up for being late, just like the young lady right there. Supervisors, they all over you. You being late. This morning, I started my job at 6 o'clock this morning. I didn't get out of the seat until 9:30 to take a break, to eat down, go use the restroom. That's how bad it was. Traffic is backed up. Then you got the cameras. I'm scared to do anything wrong on those cameras because it's nitpicking. I'm constantly being nitpicking. Every day, I'm called back in the office about something on that camera. I can't even do my job right no more. I went to the doctor yesterday. When I was here last time, I weighed 168 pounds. Now I'm down to 144. I don't eat when I go home. I don't sleep. I don't do anything. This used to be a good job when I first started working here, which was back in 1995. It was great. I enjoyed it. But now, the managers you got, the people you have, the cameras, the situation you got, it's being used wrong. I talked to a lot of police friends, Dallas police friends. They have cameras in their cars. They said, that's ridiculous what they're doing to you all down there. It's ridiculous what they're doing, how they're making you can't drink a glass of water. You can't look out. You can't scratch your nose. You can't do nothing. 5 miles, 6 miles over the speed limit. You writing up. I have kids, grandkids. Thank God my kids are grown, but I have grandkids I'm taking care of. It hurts me when I go home. They look at me, ooh, Papa, you losing weight. You getting po. It's the job. I went yesterday. This is the x-ray I had to take. $300 out of my pocket. Insurance. I can't afford the insurance that y'all have. I have 3 grandbabies that I'm taking care of. And then I got to worry about my job. I don't know how y'all sleep at night. It's hard. Thank y'all very much. And I hope something can be done about it. I really do. And like Mr. Whitehead said earlier, I hope y'all listening. Thank you.
Mr. Key, thank you for coming. Our next speaker is, I'm bad with handwriting. Looks like Ms. Lucretia Raddick. And following Ms. Raddick is Mr. Stephen Bennett.
Good evening. My name is Lucretia Riddick from Dallas. I'm from East Dallas. First thing I want to speak on is the insurance. I have 4 children under the age of 18. My insurance, I've calculated it today, will be about $228 per pay period. My wage, I get $13 and I think 22 cents an hour. How does that work? How am I supposed to live? How am I supposed to pay my bills, feed my children? It's not gonna work, it's not right. The other thing is some of these routes we have, like the gentleman just in front of us was talking about. We have 11 and a half, 12-hour routes where we have 3 minutes at one end, 4 minutes at the other end. What time do we get to eat? What time do we get to use the restroom? If we go, we have to run. We don't even have time to wash our hands. But I bet you all are able to get up from your desk and go to the restroom and wash your hands and use it in peace. Why is it that the operators, the ones that are out there doing their job and out there with these passengers that are cruel to us, out there with drivers that are cruel to us, why do we get stepped on? It's not right. We get no respect. No one is treating us the way we should be treated. And the other thing is the smart bus drivers. I've been here for almost 2 years. The smart bus drivers that are coming in now are starting at $12. It does not matter how much you pay an operator. It matters how you treat them. If you treat them right, you can keep them. But if you're not treating them right, they're gonna leave. Then what are you gonna have? Who's gonna be there to operate these buses? No one. Then you're gonna get more complaints than you've ever gotten. But I don't think anybody's listening to that. There has to be a better way. If you are treating us with respect and doing what you're supposed to be doing on your end, we can do what we're supposed to do on our end. Excuse me. Another thing is the being late. We get complaints constantly about being late, and 70 to 80% of the time, it's not even our faults. The buses are cutting off on us. What about our safety? We're on the road, and these buses cut off on us. What if we get hit from behind? Whose fault is it? Is it ours? Is it yours? What are you all doing about that? Are you trying to fix it? What about these other things, the other issues that are going on at DART? What's going to happen? You all need to sit back and think about these things, where our safety is at risk every day, be it passengers, drivers, the buses. We are at risk. Thank you.
Excuse me, Ms. Riddick? Yes. Would you do two things? Would you please give that lady your home address?
Okay.
And Ms. Riddick, when you're finished. And would you please speak with Mr. Tim Newby, right there? Well, that's good to know. Our next speaker is Mr. Stephen Butler. Excuse me, Mr. Stephen Bennett.
Good evening, board. It's pretty much the same as everybody else. We have the issues as far as one of the top things right now at the moment is our insurance benefits and the way they're being cut, and some of the issues we have as far as our spouses being on our insurance. Cameras are a top priority. I'm gonna be honest, one of the questions I have at the moment is the fact that I thought the meetings were held second Tuesday of every month, and all of a sudden the meeting is moved to the first Tuesday. I was looking at when I came in here that, you know, to me it's a little lack as far as operators, employees that are here at the moment. But in the beginning, a lot of us were talking about making the meeting because we had a lot of concerns. But at a last minute choice, we have no way out because the only way you're going to get here is to receive a AWOL, lose out. You can't make arrangements to be at the meeting. So our voice is not getting heard. We want to be heard as far as numbers, just as well as 2 or 3 people that come up to the same meeting every time. We want to be heard about the cameras. We want to be heard about making time at the end of the runs to be able to use the restroom. You're cutting the insurance, but it's also hard for us to even take care of ourselves out here because we're doing the routes on the time that has been made. When, to me, you're out here, you're doing the routes, but they're not taking in consideration that you're picking up somebody. You have to wait for that person to sit down. You also have to wait for them to get their change out their pocket to put it, even make sure this person is going to ride with you. Those are time-consuming things. So now you lose your minutes at the end of the route, in which, like they say, you don't have the time to go to the restroom. You don't have the time to eat correctly. You're not going to have any time to have anything to drink. You're not going to do it when you're driving, because if you do it then here you are, you're with management, they're saying that you're doing things unsafe. I mean, we got to have some kind of support for us. We don't even have bathrooms at a lot of end of our routes. We don't have if you stop at a store to use a restroom, you came out with something. I mean, I'm dying of thirst. I'm out here working. I'm doing my job. Can I get a little support? I mean, if the supervisor brought me a glass of water or a bottle of water, I wouldn't have to make that stop. If it was a restroom on the back of the bus, I wouldn't have to worry about making that stop. But we have needs just like everybody else. We still want the support of the board. Like I said last time, I love my job. It's the situation that's going on with my job. Same thing. I thought I was hired to be. When I was hired, I felt like I was 5-star. I've been doing the job for a while. I made it this far. I didn't need anybody to tell me whether or not I was doing a great job because I did it that long. Otherwise, you wouldn't have me here. So all I'm asking is that you look at the fact of, it hurt me for the fact that the board meeting was changed because, like I said, we had a lot of support as far as drivers. You have a safety meeting at the same time in which it knocks everything that we're trying to show that we have a backbone to stand up and say we want to be seen. So next time, could you please take in consideration that we want to be here too? Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Bennett. There is one more speaker who is requested to speak at the end of the meeting. We have several items that we need to attend to. The first of which is the approval of the rail operating liability insurance policy. And would you like to speak now?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself from voting this matter as my law firm represents one of the insurance companies, not on this particular matter, so out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to recuse myself.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Christian, would you make a motion for item 2, and then we'll ask Mr. Wageman to return?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the rail operating liability insurance policy was approved in the committee of the whole, and I move approval tonight.
All those in favor signify so by saying yes. Yes. All those opposed say no. That motion is approved. Nancy, could you? Thank you. While we await for Mr. Wageman's return, Mr. Carazales, Richard, can you introduce items 4 and 5?
You mean 5 and 6?
5 and 6.
Or
Yes.
came under
You want to do 4?
admin.
We're gonna, Paul wasn't here, we'll come back. Richard,
Okay.
4 and 5.
No, it's 5 and 6.
I'm going for take item 1. Oh, I'm on the wrong agenda. Okay, it'll work better now. 5 and 6, thank you.
Yes, Chairman, these 2 items did come through the Operating Safety Security Committee, and this is any opposition. I would like to have those be heard together. Number 5 is contract award for light rail vehicle tire installation kits. And number 6 is agreement for widening the Medical District Drive project. We would ask that it be approved by this board.
Second.
All those in favor signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. Dr. Christian, item 4.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, authorization to delegate contracting officers authority came through the committee of the whole, and it was approved. I so moved that it be approved here.
Second.
All those in favor signify so by saying yes. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. Ms. Wilkins, can you introduce item 7?
Okay, item number 7 is for the approval of the execution by the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Bus Service, LGC, of an interlocal agreement with the City of Mesquite and Star Transit for commuter bus service between Longview Station and Mesquite. This item has been discussed, and it did come through the Committee of the Whole with a majority vote, and I move that we approve it.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, please say no. Mr. Enoch, Mr. Cheney. Motion carries. Mr. Enoch, Mr. Cheney voting in opposition. Mr. Wageman, can you take item 8?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to make a motion for approval of the 11th supplemental debt resolution, including the parameters by which the staff may effectuate a refunding of certain of the agency's bonds. I'd like to split this into 2 votes, one for the approval of the motion I just made, and then separately for approval of the paying agent and registrar, which is Amegy Bank. I'll be recusing myself from that particular vote as my law firm represents the bank on matters not related to this item.
And the first item, again, if you would please identify.
Is to approve the 11th supplemental debt resolution, including the parameters by which the staff may execute the resolution.
Okay. We'll take a vote on the parameters first, and then all those in favor of the passage of this resolution by which by establishing the parameters by which the staff may action, please signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. And to help me out for a moment, Amegy Bank is the paying agent? Okay. And all those in favor of the portion of the resolution in which Amegy Bank is the paying agent? Pardon me?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Amegy Bank as the paying agent.
Thank you. Motion made and second. All those in favor of the resolution in which Amegy Bank is the paying agent, please signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. The board bylaws require that board officers be elected at the annual meeting of the board, which is the first regular meeting in the month of October. Today, we will elect a board chair, a board vice chair, a secretary, and an assistant secretary. The specific procedure for electing board officers is established in Rule 1 of DART Board Rules of Procedures. Each of the board members has been provided a copy of that rule. Do I hear a motion to suspend the requirement that the voting be conducted using the electronic voting system for this year's election of board officers?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we suspend the requirement that voting be conducted using the electronic voting system for this year's election of board officers. Second.
There was a second. I think I heard Mr. Cheney. We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second that suspend the requirement that voting be conducted using electronic voting systems for this year's election of board officers. Since this motion cannot be debated or amended, we will move directly to the vote on the motion. A two-thirds vote is required because this motion temporarily suspends an established rule of procedures. All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes and the rule is suspended. In a few minutes, I will open nominations for the four board offices. Each candidate should be nominated by a board member. The nomination does not require a second. A majority vote of those members present is required to elect. For example, if there are 15 members present, a candidate must receive 8 yes votes to be elected. Are there any questions about the voting procedure we will use? We will now begin the election process. The board is open. The floor is now open for nominations.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Ema.
I nominate Robert Strauss for the position of board chair, Fay Wilkins for the position of board vice chair, Richard Carrizales for the position of board secretary, and Gary Slagle for the position of board assistant secretary.
They don't need a second. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations for the four board office positions are closed. Since there is only one nominee for each board officer positions, for each of the board officer positions, we will proceed to vote. All those in favor of electing Robert Strauss for board chair, Fay Wilkins for board vice chair, Richard Carrizales for board secretary, and Gary Slagle for board assistant secretary, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. Ladies and gentlemen, the nominees have been elected. This concludes the 2014 election of board offices. Thank you for your participation. We have one speaker who requested to speak at the end, and that would be Carla Lindsay. Well, it was your address, since we don't ask you to announce it any longer.
Good evening. My name is Carla Lindsay. This is not the first time I've been here, but I'm here again. I represent the customers, and I'm here because of my continued concerns as far as the way the DART system is running. I have said to you guys several times that the system just doesn't seem to work. And every time I come, I hear some very dissatisfaction in the employees. So that tells me that what is happening is that because the employees aren't satisfied, then the customers aren't satisfied, because that's exactly what I am. I am a dissatisfied customer. And I'm not the only one that's dissatisfied. And so I've thought about, how do I get DART to really understand what is going on? And so the best way I've come up with for DART to understand is I make a plea for some of the individuals that I'm speaking to take a trip on the DART service. And perhaps then you will be able to see or to understand not only what the customers are feeling, but the experiences that your employees are feeling too. Because that's a concern. It's a concern for me because it's trickling down to me as a customer. And so I make a plea with DART, with everyone in DART, to really, really involve yourself in on what is going on with these employees, because it is truly, truly affecting us as a customer. And because of the fact that you're customer service oriented, that should be a concern to all of you. I heard one thing that is truly, it's the truth, and I believe that one of the issues is because of training and development. And training and development goes along with motivation, and that's what I talked about earlier last month. And without any of that, then basically all you have is an employee coming to collect a paycheck. You have no motivation. So I'm making a plea with you guys to do something to fix the system, not only for the customer, but for your employees. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Ms. Lindsay. Where's this one, Gary? There is no further business. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Ms. William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We love comments. If you don't like the way Dart is handling things, lay it out for everyone to see. If you like or hate this video, tell us. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, tell us. We even love it when you call. Better yet, like or follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube and get instant notices of all our videos the moment they are posted.